Hello everyone, my name is Muiwa Tayo. I am a lecturer. I am also an educational neuroscientist. Today my team and I are currently championing educational neuroscience adoption not only in Nigeria but in Africa. Presently, we are currently training teachers both online and offline. That is a course that we call Masterclass in Educational Neuroscience. So today, the topic I have that I want to really share with my global audience members has to do with what is educational neuroscience. But before I go deeply, into explaining what educational neuroscience is all about, I strongly believe that it is important that I acknowledge some individuals that have contributed, to my knowledge of educational neuroscience. Okay, more than 10 years ago, I started my journey into the field of neuroscience. But as I keep digging deep into neuroscience, I discovered that one of the branches of neuroscience is referred to as educational neuroscience. And since then, I've not only committed myself to developing my science in neuroscience, but I've expanded it. I've decided to zero in on educational neuroscience. So people like Professor Eric Kandel of Columbia University has tremendously impacted my understanding of neuroscience and specifically educational neuroscience. Science. The other individuals, they are people like Professor Carla Schatz of Stanford University, Professor Andrew Huberman, he too has contributed immensely. Then the Mozarts, Professor Mrs. Edva Mozart and Bridget Mozart, John O'Keefe of University College of London, and so many others that are just too numerous for me to start acknowledging. These people, keep watering, my curiosity when it comes to neuroscience and educational neuroscience in particular. So now let's go back to this topic. So I have certain things that I've written on the whiteboard. Please, I want you to really come along while I explain them. And I'm going to make sure that I am very, very simple in my explication so that you will be able to understand what educational neuroscience is. Today, educational neuroscience is really transforming global education in countries like the United States. In fact, the deans of universities they are currently advocating that whoever wants to end up in a classroom must have knowledge of educational neuroscience. Then there is this body called the OECD, the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development. This body consists of countries like France, like Belgium, like Chile, and others. They too, they've started stressing the fact that look, the only way to revamp and resuscitate their educational system so that it can be so that the standard can really improve is for teachers, for educators to do what, to have knowledge of the brain, which is neuroscience, and to be specific educational neuroscience. Gradually, we are also making impact as school owners, as teachers, as college of education students gets maybe enrolled for our course, for our course, the masterclass in educational neuroscience. We strongly believe that Nigerian too is the progress might be slow, but at least the seed has been planted or is still being planted because we're still watering it by my organization and the members in it. So please come along while I explain what educational neuroscience is all about. Then, yes, what is educational neuroscience? The first thing I want to really state is this: it began in 1989 in the United States. Do not forget, if the United States sneezes, the entire world catches cold. And one of the reasons why educational neuroscience is spreading is because of America is also emphasizing the fact that the educators there should do what? Know about the brain. Then simply, the educational science combines insights, and research from three basically fields. There are one, psychology; two, education; then three, and neuroscience. So please, anytime okay, you come across the word educational neuroscience, do not forget those three. Let me adjust. So please do not forget, okay, the psychology, education, and what, and neuroscience. So these are the three fields that are impacting educational neuroscience today. So now, before I define educational neuroscience, I think it is important for me to state this, that neuroscience is what is the scientific study of the brain. Is the scientific study of the human brain, or of the brain, okay, at large, because the brains of monkeys, the brains of mice, okay, the brains of zebrafish and flies and others are being studied. So it's the study of the brain, okay, and what the spinal cord, and how information is transferred throughout. It is throughout what, the nervous system. Our nervous system consists of what, of the brain, the spinal cord, and all other fibers, nerve fibers, that are muscles and others that connect it. That is what neuroscience is all about. But educational neuroscience is what is the study of the human brain, okay, of the human brain, and its role in learning. This is the first one, in learning. Two, in teaching. And three, in memory. Because all of education is the ability to store what? To store semantic information in the brain, and to be able to do what? To recall them during exams, during tests, during classwork, etc. So now educational science, okay, focuses on, okay, on how the brain impacts learning, okay, and the learner. So that is just simply what educational neuroscience, okay, is all about. It is about the brain, and how the brain, and the impact of the brain in the classroom. Then in the brain we have about 100 billion neurons, okay, 100 billion neurons. But specifically, okay, there are some neurons that are called the concept neurons, that have really expanded to call them CAN, that is concept and academic neurons. Okay, these are neurons that are dedicated to learning, to education, to memory, that whenever a student enters the learning environment, as soon as we get to any formal setting, that these concept neurons, or concept and academic neurons, they become active. And what are neurons? Okay, neurons are simply nerve cells. They are cells in the brain. Let me just show you, give you an example, show a picture. Yes, this is a picture. Okay, this is what it is, a neuron. So as I'm talking to you now, your concept and academic neurons, they are active. Whatever I'm saying, those new information that I'm revealing to you are being stored, okay, by what? They are being encoded by your concept neurons, or what I call concept and academic neurons. Then this is also what? This is the brain. Okay, in this brain we have about 100 billion neurons. This part is extremely important. It's known as the prefrontal cortex, but we are going to actually come to that later in other videos. I'm going to explain that. Then please look at this picture. There's an organ that most teachers are not aware of. It is called the hippocampus. This is the hippocampus. The hippocampus is extremely important. It has some concept and academic neurons that store information whenever a teacher is teaching in the class. These concept and academic neurons, they do what? They help the student to encode, okay, the content that the teacher is revealing to them. The hippocampus is responsible for the encoding of memories, especially semantic memories. Those information, those data that teachers teach to students are stored, are encoded by the hippocampus as short-term memory. But later on, maybe when a child, okay, goes to bed at night, this hippocampus decides, it distributes all the information throughout what? The neocortex. Then this is the hippocampus also. This is the hippocampus. Can you see it? This is this blue. It's called the hippocampus. This is it here, hippocampus. So in our course, I'm going to make sure that I really explain in detail everything about the hippocampus. So thank you so much for your time. Please do not forget to invite others. Tell them about our ongoing course called Masterclass in Educational Neuroscience. It is compulsory for every school owner, and it is also compulsory for everyone who wants to end up as a teacher or as a lecturer, basically as an educator in the Nigerian and Africa's and global education system. Thank you very much, and I shall see you in the next video.